Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn English Podcast. My name is Jack, and I'm here with my co-host, Emily. Today, we have a very special episode for you.
Hi, everyone. Emily here. We are so excited about today's topic because it's something that almost every English learner struggles with at some point.
That's right. Today, we're going to talk about 3 very small words that cause very big problems. Those words are in, on, and at.
These are called prepositions, and they are used to show the relationship between things. They tell us about location and time.
Now, I know what you're thinking. These are such tiny words. How hard can they be? But trust me, they're trickier than you might think.
Even native English speakers sometimes have to pause and think about which one to use. So if you find them confusing, you're definitely not alone.
Let's start with the basics. What exactly are prepositions?
A preposition is a word that shows the relationship between a noun or pronoun and other words in a sentence. They usually tell us about position, time, or direction.
In English, we have many prepositions. Words like under, above, beside, between, through, and many others. But today, we're focusing on 3 of the most common and most confusing ones.
In, on, and at. These 3 prepositions are used constantly in English. You'll use them every single day when you speak or write.
So let's break them down. We're going to look at how to use each one for talking about place or location first. Then we'll talk about how to use them for time.
Great plan. Let's start with place. When we talk about where something is located, we can use in, on, or at, but each one is used in different situations.
The easiest way to think about this is to imagine you're zooming in with a camera. Think about going from big and general to small and specific.
I love that image. So in is the most general, on is more specific, and at is the most specific or exact.
Let's start with in. We use in when we're talking about being inside something or being within boundaries. It's for enclosed spaces.
For example, if I say I live in Canada, Canada is a large area with boundaries. I'm within those boundaries.
Right. You could also say I live in Toronto. Toronto is a city. It's a defined area, and you're inside that area.
We use in for countries, cities, states, provinces, and neighborhoods. I live in France. She works in Paris. They're staying in California.
We also use in for buildings and rooms because these are enclosed spaces. The meeting is in the conference room. He's sitting in his office. The food is in the kitchen.
Think about being surrounded by something or enclosed by it. That's when you use in. I'm in the car. The books are in the box. She's swimming in the pool.
Now let's talk about on. We use on when something is touching a surface. Think about things that are on top of something else. The book is on the table. The picture is on the wall. Your glasses are on your nose. The cup is on the desk.
All of these things are touching a surface. They're on top of something or attached to something.
Here's something that confuses a lot of learners. When we talk about streets, we use on in English.
That's right. I live on Main Street. The store is on 5th Avenue, not in Main Street or at Main Street. We say on.
Why do we use on for streets? Well, think about it this way. A street is like a path or a surface. When you're on a street, you're on that surface.
Some languages use the equivalent of in for streets, so this can be confusing. But in English, it's always on when you're talking about the street name.
Now let's talk about at. This is the most specific preposition. We use at for exact locations or specific points.
Think of at as pointing to a specific spot on a map. It's precise. I'm at the bus stop. She's at the door. Meet me at the library.
At gives you a specific location. It's not about being inside something or on a surface. It's about being at that particular place. Here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes you can use different prepositions for the same place depending on what you want to emphasize.
That's true. For example, you can say, I'm at the library or I'm in the library. Both are correct, but they mean slightly different things.
When you say at the library, you're telling someone your location. You're at that place. When you say in the library, you're emphasizing that you're inside the building.
So if someone asks, "Where are you?" and you want to tell them your location, you might say, "I'm at the library." But if they ask, "Where are you studying?" you might say, "I'm in the library."
The difference is subtle, but it's there. At is about the location as a point. In is about being inside the space.
Let's practice with some examples. Where would you say you are if you're inside a coffee shop drinking coffee?
You could say, I'm at the coffee shop if someone asks where you are, or you could say, I'm in the coffee shop. Both work.
What about if you're standing outside a bank waiting for it to open?
I'm at the bank. You're at that location, but you're not inside it yet.
And if you're inside the bank doing your banking?
You could say, I'm at the bank or I'm in the bank. Again, both work depending on what you want to emphasize.
Now let's talk about some specific places and which preposition to use. What about home?
Great question. We say at home, not in home. I'm at home. She's at home. Are you at home?
But if you say the house instead of home, you use in. I'm in the house. She's in the house.
Why the difference? Home is treated as a location or point in English. House is a physical building you're inside.
It's one of those things you just have to memorize. At home, but in the house.
What about work? Do you say at work or in work?
We say at work. I'm at work right now. He's at work until 5 o'clock, not in work.
But you can say I'm in the office because office is a physical room you're inside.
So you're at work, but you're in the office. At work describes your general location or situation. In the office describes the physical space.
Let's talk about school. This is another one that can be confusing.
You can say both at school and in school, but they mean different things.
At school means you're at that location right now. Where's Jenny? She's at school. It tells you where she physically is.
In school means you're a student. You're enrolled in school. I'm still in school means I haven't graduated yet. I'm still a student.
So a child might be at school from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, but they're in school for 12 years total.
That's a great way to explain it. At school is about location right now. In school is about your status as a student.
What about university or college?
We usually say at university or at college. I study at Harvard University. She's at college in Boston.
But you can say in college when you're talking about the time period. When I was in college, I studied hard. In college describes that period of your life.
Now let's talk about vehicles and transportation. This is where the rules get interesting.
For most large vehicles, we use on. You're on a bus. You're on a train. You're on a plane. You're on a ship or boat.
Why on? Because these vehicles are big enough that you can walk around on them. You walk onto them and you're standing or walking on a surface inside.
But for cars, we use in. You're in a car. You're in a taxi. You're in a truck.
Why in? Because cars are smaller and more enclosed. You're sitting down in a small space.
So you get on a bus, but you get in a car. You're on the train, but you're in the taxi.
What about bicycles and motorcycles?
For these, we use on. You're on a bicycle. You're on a motorcycle. You're on a bike.
Because you're sitting on top of them. You're not enclosed inside anything.
Let's practice. If you're traveling from New York to Los Angeles and you're flying, what do you say?
I'm on a plane, or I'm on the plane to Los Angeles.
And if you take the taxi from the airport to your hotel?
I'm in a taxi, or I'm in the cab.
What if you take the subway?
I'm on the subway. Even though you're underground and enclosed, it's still a large vehicle, so we use on.
Now let's talk about at, on, and in with some other commonplaces. What about a park?
We usually say in the park. The children are playing in the park. We're having a picnic in the park.
A park is an area, so you're inside that area. You're in the park.
What about a restaurant?
You can say both at the restaurant and in the restaurant. Let's meet at the restaurant means let's meet at that location. We're eating in the restaurant means we're inside eating, not doing takeout.
What about a store or shop?
Usually in. I'm shopping in the store. She's working in the shop. You're inside the building.
But you could say at if you're talking about location. I'll meet you at the store. At tells them which store.
What about a concert or a game?
You usually say at. I was at the concert last night. We're at the football game. These are events, and we treat them as specific points in time and place.
What about the beach?
On the beach. We spent the day on the beach. We're sitting on the beach.
Beach is treated as a surface, so we use on.
What about the ocean or sea?
In the ocean, swimming in the sea. You're surrounded by water, so you're in it.
What about a corner? This is a tricky one.
You can say both on the corner and at the corner. The store is on the corner. Let's meet at the corner.
On the corner emphasizes the surface area of that corner. At the corner emphasizes it as a meeting point.
Both are correct. It just depends on what you want to emphasize.
Let's talk about some other common locations. What about a desk?
At a desk. I'm sitting at my desk. He works at a desk all day.
But things can be on the desk. Your computer is on the desk. Your papers are on the desk.
You sit at the desk, but things are on the desk. At describes your position. On describes where objects are placed.
What about a table?
Same thing. You sit at a table, but food and dishes are on the table.
What about bed?
We say in bed when you're under the covers. I'm in bed means I'm sleeping or resting under the blankets.
But on the bed means you're sitting or lying on top of it. The cat is sleeping on the bed.
So if someone asks, "Are you in bed?" they're asking if you're sleeping or getting ready to sleep. If they ask, "Is the book on the bed?" they want to know if it's sitting on top of the bed.
What about chairs and sofas?
We say on. Sit on the chair. She's sitting on the sofa. You're on top of the furniture.
What about the floor?
On the floor. The toys are on the floor. Sit on the floor.
What about the ceiling?
On the ceiling. There's a spider on the ceiling. The light is on the ceiling.
What about walls?
On the wall. The picture is on the wall. There's a clock on the wall.
So surfaces like floors, ceilings, and walls all use on.
That's right. If something is touching a surface or attached to it, we use on.
Now let's talk about body parts and clothing. This is important for describing where things are.
When we talk about wearing something, we usually use on. You have a hat on your head. She has a ring on her finger. He has shoes on his feet.
Glasses are on your face. A watch is on your wrist. Earrings are on your ears.
But we use in for pockets and bags. I have my keys in my pocket. She has her phone in her bag.
Because pockets and bags are enclosed spaces. Things are inside them.
What about pain and injuries?
For pain inside the body, we use in. I have a pain in my back. There's a pain in my chest. My tooth hurts means I have pain in my tooth.
For injuries on the surface, we use on. I have a cut on my finger. There's a bruise on my leg. She has a rash on her arm.
So in is for internal pain and on is for surface injuries.
Now let's shift to talking about time. This is where in, on, and at are used in very specific ways.
The good news is that the rules for time are actually pretty consistent. Once you learn them, they're easier than the rules for place.
Let's start with in. We use in for longer periods of time. These are non-specific general time periods.
We use in for months. I was born in January. We're going on vacation in July. The school year starts in September.
We use in for years. She graduated in 2015. I moved here in 1998. We'll finish the project in 2026.
We use in for centuries and decades. Life was different in the 20th century. Music was great in the 1960s. Technology changed rapidly in the 2000s.
We also use in for seasons. I love going to the beach in summer. The leaves change color in autumn. It snows a lot in winter. Flowers bloom in spring.
Notice that all of these are longer time periods. Months, years, decades, centuries, seasons. They're all measured in weeks, months, or years.
We also use in for parts of the day, but only certain parts. We say in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening.
In the morning, I drink coffee. I have lunch in the afternoon. We eat dinner in the evening.
But we don't say in the night. We say at night. This is an exception, and you just have to memorize it.
At night is the correct way to say it. I sleep at night. The stars come out at night, not in the night.
Well, you can say in the night, but it sounds very poetic or old-fashioned, like something from a poem or an old book.
In modern, everyday English, we say at night. Now let's talk about on. We use on for days and dates.
We use on for days of the week. I have a meeting on Monday. She's coming to visit on Friday. We don't work on Saturday.
On Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday. Any day of the week uses on.
We also use on for specific dates. My birthday is on March 15th. The meeting is on June 3rd. Independence Day is on July 4th.
We use on for special days. On Christmas Day, on New Year's Day, on Easter Sunday, on Thanksgiving.
But here's something interesting. We say at Christmas and at Easter and at Thanksgiving when we're talking about the general time period.
Right. At Christmas means during the Christmas season. On Christmas Day means that specific day.
So you might say, I'm going home at Christmas, meaning during the holiday period. But we open presents on Christmas Day, meaning that specific day.
We also say on my birthday, on your anniversary, on the first day of school. Any specific day uses on.
What about weekends?
In American English, we say on the weekend or on weekends. I like to relax on the weekend. We go hiking on weekends.
But in British English, people often say at the weekend. So Americans say on the weekend and British people say at the weekend.
Both are correct, depending on which variety of English you're learning or using.
Now let's talk about at. We use at for specific times on the clock.
Anytime you're talking about clock time, use at. The meeting is at 3 o'clock. I wake up at 7 a.m. The store opens at 9. We eat dinner at 6:30.
At 2:15, at 5:45, at 11:20. Any specific time on the clock uses at.
We also use at for specific points in time. At midnight, at noon, at sunrise, at sunset.
At midnight is 12 o'clock at night. At noon is 12 o'clock in the day. These are exact moments in time.
We say at the moment to mean right now. I'm busy at the moment. She's not available at the moment.
We also say at present to mean currently or now. At present, we don't have that information. The situation at present is unclear.
We use at for ages, too. At the age of 5, at age 16, at 21. She learned to read at the age of 4.
Now here's something that confuses people. What about this moment or that moment?
We say at this moment or at that moment. At this moment, I'm very happy. At that moment, she realized the truth.
But we say in a moment to mean soon. I'll be with you in a moment. She'll arrive in a moment.
So at the moment or at this moment means now. In a moment means soon, in the near future.
The difference is subtle but important. At the moment is happening now. In a moment is about to happen.
Let's practice with some time expressions. When is your birthday?
My birthday is in May. That's the month, so we use in.
More specifically?
My birthday is on May 23rd. That's a specific date, so we use on.
And what time were you born?
I was born at 7:30 in the morning. That's a clock time, so we use at.
Perfect. So you were born in May, on May 23rd, at 7:30 a.m. 3 different prepositions for 3 different levels of specificity.
Exactly. Let's do another one. When do you eat lunch?
I eat lunch at noon. That's a specific time.
What day is your dentist appointment?
My dentist appointment is on Thursday. That's a specific day.
What month are you going on vacation?
I'm going on vacation in August. That's a month.
See how it works? The time period determines which preposition to use.
Now let's talk about some tricky combinations. What about days with parts of the day?
Good question. We say in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. But what if we add a specific day?
Then we use on Monday morning, on Friday afternoon, on Tuesday evening.
Even though we normally say in the morning, when we attach it to a specific day, it becomes on Monday morning.
The same goes for dates. On the morning of July 4th, on the afternoon of her birthday.
When you combine a specific day or date with a part of the day, use on.
This trips up a lot of learners because they think in the morning should stay as in even when you add Monday, but it changes to on Monday morning.
What about next, last, this, and every?
These words change things. We don't use a preposition with next, last, this, or every when talking about time.
Right, you don't say on next Monday. You just say next Monday. I'll see you next Monday, not on next Monday.
We went to the beach last Saturday, not on last Saturday. This Wednesday I have a meeting, not on this Wednesday.
I go to the gym every Tuesday, not on every Tuesday. These time words don't need a preposition in front of them.
This is different from saying a specific day without those words. I have a meeting on Monday is correct, but I have a meeting next Monday doesn't need on.
Now let's talk about some common phrases and expressions that use in, on, and at. These are fixed expressions that you need to memorize.
Let's start with in. We say in time and on time, but these mean different things.
In time means before a deadline or before it's too late. I arrived in time for the movie means I got there before it started.
On time means exactly when scheduled, punctual. The train arrived on time, meaning it arrived at the scheduled time.
So in time is early enough. On time is at the right time.
If the movie starts at 7 and you arrive at 6:55, you arrived in time. If the train is scheduled for 3 p.m. and it arrives at 3 p.m., it's on time.
We also say in the end and at the end, which are different.
In the end means finally or eventually. In the end, we decided to stay home. After considering everything, that was the final decision.
At the end means at the final part of something. At the end of the movie, everyone cried. At the end of the book, there's a surprise.
In the end is about a final decision or outcome. At the end refers to the final part of a specific thing.
We say in the future and in the past. In the future, we'll have flying cars. In the past, people didn't have smartphones.
We say at present to mean now or currently. At present, we don't have that information available.
We say in a hurry when someone is rushing. She's in a hurry. We're in a hurry, not on a hurry or at a hurry.
We say in trouble when someone has problems. He's in trouble with his teacher. I'm in trouble, not on trouble or at trouble.
We say in love when talking about romantic feelings. I'm in love with her. They're in love, not on love or at love.
We say in danger when something or someone is at risk. The animals are in danger. She's in danger, not on danger or at danger.
We say in pain when someone is hurting. He's in pain. I'm in pain, not on pain or at pain.
All of these expressions with in are fixed. You can't change the preposition.
Now let's look at some common expressions with on. We say on fire when something is burning. The building is on fire, not in fire.
We say on purpose when something is intentional. I did it on purpose. She said that on purpose, not in purpose or at purpose.
We say on vacation or on holiday. We're on vacation next week. They're on holiday, not in vacation.
Though you can say on a vacation or on a holiday when referring to a specific trip. We met on a vacation to Spain.
We say on sale when something has a reduced price. These shoes are on sale. Everything in the store is on sale.
We say on duty when someone is working their shift. The nurse is on duty. The police officer is on duty.
We say on a diet when someone is trying to lose weight. I'm on a diet. She's been on a diet for a month.
We say on strike when workers are protesting. The teachers are on strike. The factory workers went on strike.
We say on hold when you're waiting on the phone. Please hold. You're on hold. Can you put me on hold?
We say on my way when you're traveling to a place. I'm on my way. She's on her way to work. He's on his way home.
All of these use on, and you can't substitute a different preposition.
Now let's talk about expressions with at. We say at risk when something might be in danger. The project is at risk. These animals are at risk.
We say at fault when someone is responsible for a problem. Who's at fault? He's at fault for the accident.
We say at stake when something important might be lost. Your job is at stake. A lot of money is at stake.
We say at peace when someone is calm or not in conflict. She's at peace with her decision. The country is at peace.
We say at war when countries are fighting. The nations are at war. They've been at war for years.
We say at odds when people disagree. They're at odds over the decision. We're at odds about this issue.
We say at least when giving a minimum. At least 10 people came. It costs at least $50.
We say at most when giving a maximum. At most, we can fit 20 people. It takes an hour at most.
We say at all for emphasis in negative sentences. I don't like it at all. She doesn't speak Spanish at all.
These expressions with at are also fixed. You need to memorize them as complete phrases.
Now let's talk about some verbs that always go with specific prepositions. These are called dependent prepositions.
Arrive is a good example. We say arrive in when talking about cities or countries. I arrived in London. She arrived in Japan.
But we say arrive at when talking about specific buildings or locations. I arrived at the hotel. We arrived at the airport.
Never arrive to. That's a common mistake. Not I arrived to London, it's I arrived in London.
Good at is another good one. We say someone is good at something. She's good at math. He's good at singing. I'm good at cooking.
Not good in or good on. It's always good at. The same goes for bad at. I'm bad at sports. She's bad at spelling.
Interested in is another important one. I'm interested in learning Spanish. She's interested in art. We're interested in the job.
Always interested in, never interested at or interested on.
Different from or different than. This one varies. In American English, both are acceptable. This is different from that. This is different than that.
But in British English, different from is preferred. Some people think different than is incorrect, but it's widely used in American English.
Angry at or angry with. Both are used but with slight differences. You're usually angry with a person. I'm angry with my brother.
But you're angry at a situation or thing. I'm angry at the situation. She's angry at the delay.
Listen to is always together. I listen to music. Listen to me. We listened to the teacher. Never listen at or listen on.
Look at means to direct your eyes towards something. Look at the sky. Look at this picture. She's looking at the menu.
But look for means to search for something. I'm looking for my keys. She's looking for a job. We're looking for the restaurant.
And look after means to take care of someone. She looks after her grandmother. Can you look after the kids?
3 different meanings with 3 different prepositions. Look at, look for, look after.
Wait for is another common one. I'm waiting for the bus. Wait for me. She's waiting for her friend.
Think about or think of. Both work in most situations. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking of you. Think about it. Think of it.
There's a very subtle difference. Think of can imply calling something to mind. I thought of a solution. Think about implies consideration. I'll think about your offer.
But in most everyday situations, they're interchangeable.
Depend on is fixed. It depends on the weather. Success depends on hard work. I'm depending on you.
Never depend in or depend at. Always depend on.
Agree is interesting because it changes meaning with different prepositions. Agree with a person. I agree with you. She agrees with me.
Agree on a decision or plan. We agreed on a date. They agreed on a price. Let's agree on a time.
Agree to a proposal or suggestion. I agree to your terms. She agreed to help. He agreed to the plan.
3 different meanings with 3 different prepositions.
Believe in means to have faith in something. I believe in you. She believes in hard work. We believe in fairness.
This is different from believe without a preposition, which means to think something is true. I believe it's going to rain. She believes the story.
Belong to shows ownership. This book belongs to me. The car belongs to my sister. Who does this belong to?
Apologize for is the correct form. I apologize for being late. He apologized for his mistake. She should apologize for her behavior.
Not apologize about or apologize of. It's apologize for.
Care about means to have feelings or concern. I care about you. She cares about the environment. We care about our customers.
Care for can mean to like or to take care of. I don't care for coffee means I don't like it. She cares for her elderly parents means she takes care of them.
Complain about is the standard form. Stop complaining about the weather. She complained about the service. Don't complain about it.
Dream about or dream of both work. I dreamed about you last night. I dream of traveling the world.
Worry about is the correct form. Don't worry about it. I'm worried about the test. She worries about everything.
Not worry for or worry on. It's worry about.
Now let's talk about some common mistakes that learners make with these prepositions.
One very common mistake is saying in the weekend instead of on the weekend. Remember, in American English, it's on the weekend.
I'll see you on the weekend, not in the weekend. Days and specific times use on.
My appointment is on Monday, not at Monday. On Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Friday. All days use on.
Another mistake is using in with specific times. People say in 3 o'clock instead of at 3 o'clock.
The meeting is at 3 o'clock, not in 3 o'clock. Clock times always use at. Using in with years is correct, but sometimes people use at or on. The correct form is in.
I was born in 1990, not at 1990 or on 1990. Years use in.
For streets, people often say in the street instead of on the street.
I live on Main Street. The store is on Fifth Avenue, not in Main Street. Streets use on.
Another common mistake is saying I'm in the bus instead of I'm on the bus.
I'm on the bus. I'm on the train. I'm on the plane. Large vehicles use on.
But I'm in the car, I'm in the taxi. Small vehicles use in.
People also sometimes say arrive to instead of arrive in or arrive at.
Remember, arrive in for cities and countries, arrive at for specific places, never arrive to.
I arrived in Paris. I arrived at the hotel, not I arrived to Paris.
Another mistake is saying interested at instead of interested in.
I'm interested in learning English, not interested at, always interested in.
People also sometimes say good in instead of good at.
She's good at math. He's good at sports. Not good in, always good at.
Using in Christmas instead of at Christmas is another error.
We say at Christmas for the general time period, but on Christmas Day for the specific.
Communication is more important than perfection. If someone doesn't understand, they'll ask for clarification.
And eighth, keep listening to English. Listen to podcasts like this one. Watch English videos. The more exposure you get, the better.
Your brain will start to absorb the patterns naturally, just like children learning their first language.
Now let's do some practice together. I'll give you a sentence with a blank, and you think about which preposition fits.
Great idea. Let's start easy. I was born blank 1995.
The answer is in. I was born in 1995. Years use in.
My birthday is blank March 10th.
On. My birthday is on March 10th. Specific dates use on.
The party starts blank 7:30.
At. The party starts at 7:30. Clock times use at.
I'll see you blank the weekend.
On in American English. I'll see you on the weekend.
She lives blank Tokyo.
In. She lives in Tokyo. Cities use in.
The restaurant is blank Main Street.
On. The restaurant is on Main Street. Streets use on.
Let's meet blank the library.
At. Let's meet at the library. Specific locations use at.
I'm studying blank the library.
In. I'm studying in the library. Inside the building uses in.
The book is blank the table.
On. The book is on the table. Surfaces use on.
I'm blank the car.
In. I'm in the car. Small vehicles use in.
She's blank the bus.
On. She's on the bus. Large vehicles use on.
He's blank work.
At. He's at work. This is a fixed expression.
They're blank home.
At. They're at home. Another fixed expression.
I'm blank bed.
In. I'm in bed, meaning under the covers.
The cat is blank the bed.
On. The cat is on the bed, on top of it.
We arrived blank London.
In, we arrived in London. Cities use in with arrive.
We arrived blank the hotel.
At, we arrived at the hotel. Specific places use at with arrive.
I'm interested blank learning Spanish.
In, I'm interested in learning Spanish. Interested always takes in.
She's good blank math.
At, she's good at math. Good always takes at.
I'm waiting blank the bus.
For, I'm waiting for the bus. Wait always takes for.
Think blank it.
About or of, both work. Think about it or think of it.
I agree blank you.
With, I agree with you. Agree with a person.
We agreed blank a time.
On, we agreed on a time. Agree on a decision.
She agreed blank help.
To, she agreed to help. Agree to a proposal.
Let's do some more with time. I was born blank summer.
In, I was born in summer. Seasons use in.
The meeting is blank Monday morning.
On, the meeting is on Monday morning. Specific day with part of day uses on.
I wake up blank 7 a.m.
At, I wake up at 7 a.m. Clock time uses at.
I'll call you blank the morning.
In, I'll call you in the morning. Parts of day use in.
I'll be there blank a moment.
In, I'll be there in a moment, meaning soon.
I'm busy blank the moment.
At, I'm busy at the moment, meaning right now.
Blank the end we decided to stay.
In the end we decided to stay, meaning finally.
There's a surprise blank the end of the book.
At, there's a surprise at the end of the book, meaning the final part.
She learned to swim blank the age of 5.
At, she learned to swim at the age of 5. Ages use at.
Life was different blank the 20th century.
In, life was different in the 20th century. Centuries use in.
Excellent practice. I think that helps clarify when to use each one.
Absolutely. The more you practice, the more automatic it becomes.
Now, before we finish, let's talk about some special cases and exceptions that don't follow the regular patterns.
Good idea. There are always exceptions in English.
We mentioned home earlier. At home is the standard, but there are some regional variations. Some people say in home in certain contexts.
But for learners, stick with at home. That's the safest and most common form.
Another special case is downtown. Americans usually say downtown without any preposition. I'm going downtown. She works downtown.
But you might hear in downtown in some contexts, in downtown Los Angeles. Both forms exist.
Another interesting case is aboard. We say aboard a ship or aboard a plane. This is more formal than on.
Passengers aboard the flight. Everyone aboard the ship. It means on, but sounds more official.
Another interesting case is time of day with specific events. We might say at breakfast, at lunch, at dinner, to mean during that mealtime.
We discussed it at breakfast. I'll tell you at dinner. This is different from saying during breakfast or during dinner.
Though both work, at breakfast and during breakfast are both acceptable.
Another special case is expressions with hand. We say on hand, meaning available. We have supplies on hand.
At hand means nearby or soon. Help is at hand. The deadline is at hand.
In hand means under control. The situation is in hand. We have it in hand.
3 different meanings with 3 different prepositions, all using the word hand.
We also have expressions with way. On the way or on my way means traveling. I'm on my way to work.
In the way means blocking. You're in the way. Move, you're in the way.
By the way is used to introduce a new topic. By the way, did you hear the news?
Different prepositions, different meanings, all with way.
Let's talk about some expressions where the preposition seems illogical.
Why do we say on foot? You're not standing on your foot, you're walking with your feet.
But we say, I came here on foot. It's just the expression we use for walking.
Why do we say in detail? Detail isn't a place you can be inside.
But we say, explain it in detail or describe it in detail. It's just how we express thoroughness.
Why do we say by heart when we memorize something? I know the song by heart.
No logical reason, it's just the expression. You can't analyze every preposition logically.
This is why context and memorization are so important. Some things just are the way they are.
English has evolved over hundreds of years. Many expressions come from old usage that doesn't make logical sense anymore.
But native speakers learn these naturally from childhood, so they sound right even if they're not logical.
For learners, you have to treat these as set phrases and memorize them.
Now let's summarize everything we've covered today. That's a lot of information.
Let's start with the big picture. In, on, and at are prepositions used for place and time.
For place, think of them as a scale from general to specific. In is most general, on is more specific, at is most specific.
In is for enclosed spaces and larger areas, countries, cities, buildings, rooms.
On is for surfaces, things touching or attached to something, tables, walls, streets, floors.
At is for specific points or exact locations, an address, a place, a position.
For time, in is for longer periods, months, years, seasons, centuries.
On is for days and dates, Monday, Friday, March 10th, Christmas Day.
At is for specific times, clock times, midnight, noon, the moment.
For transportation, on for large vehicles, on the bus, on the train, on the plane.
In for small vehicles, in the car, in the taxi.
Fixed expressions need to be memorized. At home, on time, in love, at work.
Dependent prepositions with verbs and adjectives must be learned as pairs: interested in, good at, arrive in or at.
Pay attention to context. Sometimes multiple prepositions work depending on what you want to emphasize.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're part of learning.
Practice, practice, practice. Read, listen, speak, and write in English as much as you can.
The more exposure you get, the more natural these prepositions will become.
And remember that even native speakers sometimes pause to think about prepositions. They're genuinely tricky.
So be patient with yourself. You're doing great just by listening to this episode and trying to learn.
We hope this episode has helped clarify these confusing little words.
Before we finish, we want to remind you to subscribe to Learn English podcast if you haven't already.
We release new episodes regularly, covering all aspects of English grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and more.
By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode. You'll keep learning and improving your English.
And here's the most important part. We want to hear from you.
What grammar topic would you like us to cover next? What confuses you about English?
Leave us a comment and tell us what you want to learn. We read every comment and we plan our episodes based on your requests.
This podcast is for you, the learners, so your input is incredibly valuable to us.
Do you want to learn about phrasal verbs, conditional sentences, the passive voice, relative clauses?
Or maybe you want help with pronunciation, idioms, or business English.
Whatever you want to learn, tell us. We're here to help you improve your English.
You can also share your own tips for learning. If you found a good way to remember prepositions or any other grammar point, share it in the comments.
We can all learn from each other. The community of learners is so important.
And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends who are learning English.